And welcome to this episode of Cinematic Relief. I cut off Anthony. He wasn't done. I'm so sorry, but I am lightning.
No, I'm Thunder, and I was just rambling until I could get the stream back up on my phone because something fucked up, but we're good. Not the stream, something on my phone.
Gotcha.
So we're good. That was very weird. I'm not even gonna explain what happened because nobody gives a shit. Yes, today we're talking about the Adam Project, Netflix exclusive film starring just a bunch of Marvel alums, which is just love it.
Bunch of Marvel alums with some heavy Guardians of the Galaxy tones in some of the sci-fi direction they decided to go in.
Yeah, so the only thing I knew about this movie was that Ryan Reynolds is the little boy and the big, like it's the same character. That's the only thing I knew about it.
I didn't even know this film existed until
I brought it up.
And that's all you told me, so that's all I knew about it.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we just got an announcement that the director of this film and Free Guy is going to direct Deadpool 3, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, cool. Haven't seen Free Guy yet. We'll probably do that soon. I didn't want to watch any more movies in between watching these and these podcasts.
Sure.
Especially one that had Ryan Reynolds in it, just so I wouldn't confuse my brain. But I think Free Guy is next for me. And then if I could find Death on the Nile somewhere on streaming, that'd be just choice. But Adam Project, didn't know really anything about it going in, other than the only thing I knew was that I assumed some sort of time travel was involved because I knew that Ryan Reynolds was the boy. That they're the same character. Their name's Adam. So I really like this movie.
I thought it was good. I watched it up New Hampshire. It made me call my parents right after.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was just like, I want to talk to my parents.
Oh.
No, it was good. It was fun. I just thinking now, it's a few days removed from seeing the movie, but just sitting here now, one thing I would like to talk about, this is jumping way into the plot of the film.
Sure, yeah. Go for it.
The dad, right?
Yes.
He has a very Doc from Back to the Future vibe of like, don't tell me what's going to happen. Don't tell me about the future.
Yeah.
At the end of this film,
yes,
the day is saved. The future has already been altered. Unbelievably.
Right.
And then they're like, but Dad, we still have this important thing to tell you. He's like, nope, don't do it. And it's like, shut the fuck up. You already changed so much shit. Just let them tell you that you're gonna die, and maybe something can prevent it.
They sort of tell him.
They
like
do.
He finds out eventually. But
yeah,
they
when
don't,
he fucking dies. No, he knows what they're. Yeah, you're right. He knows that that's what they want to talk to him about.
Right. He doesn't know how it'll happen.
Assuming he got hit by a bus.
Right. Assuming it was an accident.
It's very easily fixable.
Right.
Your son's fucked. Have you not seen this? Wouldn't you like to prevent that as much as you can? I don't know. That just bothered me. I was like, why? Just you've already bent the rule this much. Just what difference does it make?
Right, because he definitely at first he was like, there's so many rules. Essentially, he's like, there's so many rules. How many did you fucking break?
Right.
And Adam's like, well, we sort of broke all of them on the way here. I feel like there is a disconnect between like, well, don't break another one, and like,
don't break another one. Now we're gonna break them all.
Now I'm gonna actively help you change everything.
Well, that's the thing is, if he stayed out of it, then that's the end of Mark Ruffalo's character in this film. That's fine.
Right. Yeah,
but
and
then he didn't, and then choose your side of the battle.
Right.
Are you pro or con?
Right.
If you're con, stay con, and if you're pro, stay pro. Just,
there was
writing wise, there's a hole somewhere where he's okay with some of it.
Right.
But the one thing that's really going to make you teary-eyed at the end of the movie, he can't be okay with that.
Don't tell me how the future's going to go, because it will be altered. Now, let's go
change
alter the future.
Everything about the future. Right. It's just a bit of a... It just made me a little annoyed at the end of the movie, because I figured, he had come full circle, because they bring it up again for like the 12th time.
You thought there was gonna be what would have made this okay for you if he was like, all right, tell me.
Yeah, if the final time the kid's crying and it's like, God damn it, and it's like, I really thought in that moment he was gonna be like, okay. And then they're going to be like, Dad, you get hit by a bus. And he's going to be like, that's so fucking stupid. I'll just stay away from buses. But like, if he was sick, that's a different story. But they never flat out say that.
He said car accident, right? They said car accident?
I don't think they gave any explanation.
I'm pretty sure they said car accident.
If it's car accident, then fuck. You know?
Yeah.
Fix it. This isn't Marvel. This isn't going to be Doctor Strange where he tries saving his girlfriend's life 1,000 times and it doesn't happen. Like, just don't. And you'll be safe. And you'll get to live with your family. Like, I don't know. That's just so stupid.
Right.
If I had a kid and me and Pauline were married, that kid comes back in time and the 2-year older version of the kid that I have comes back in time, and I know instantly that I'm not around for this kid in 2 years.
Right.
What is wrong with you? Of course I want to know what I can do to solve that.
If not for you, then for your kid. That's what you're saying, right?
My wife, who now has to raise him on her own and has to struggle through the loss of me, Pauline, if you're still watching, I wouldn't do that shit to you. There's just a huge character flaw and disconnect, and the film made it work for some of it and not all of it.
Right.
And it just, that part I kind of left like, eh. I like Turning Red more than I like this one out of these two sessions.
I would agree with that. I liked them both a lot. I do want to talk about...
Yeah, we can lay that to rest. Moving on.
Let's talk about... let's talk about something that sometimes happens in movies. The most poignant reference I can think of is Interstellar. Have you seen Interstellar?
I have not seen Interstellar.
Then I won't spoil it, but
no, you can say whatever you want.
Well, there's just something that happens in movies sometimes where a fucking super famous person shows up on screen and you're like, you're in this movie? And that happened to me with Zoe Saldana. I did not know she was in this. I knew Mark Ruffalo. I knew Jennifer Garner. I obviously knew Ryan Reynolds. And this seems like the first thing he was ever in based on a quick Google search. Seems like he was in a few commercials or something. But I was just like, Zoe Saldana literally comes running through the forest, and I was like, is that fucking... Yeah, it is. It's her. Oh, my God. You're welcome to the show. There's a really... Interstellar's 3.5 hours long or some shit. And at hour 2 in 45 minutes, one of the most famous people on planet Earth shows up, and you're like, oh, you're in this? Okay.
Oh, that's funny.
It's one of those things where, okay, I'm going to tell you who it is, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
It's Matt Damon.
Okay.
Matt Damon shows up, and he was in The Martian a year later, so a lot of people have this memory, people are like, blah, 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 Matt Damon from Interstellar, and they're like, Matt Damon was in Interstellar? I watched this, and I didn't know that. My brain put that movie that scene in the Martian movie.
That's funny.
Yeah, but Zoe Saldana, let me tell you, she can fucking act. She is such a good actress. I love her so much. She really elevated this movie for me. And there was a scene where they did exactly what I would have done, because I feel like a lesser movie would have fucked this up. But there was a moment where I was just like, the bad guy, the old redhead woman, had her guns pointed at Zoe Saldana's character, and I was like, kill her. You might as well kill her, because this version of her is going to get deleted. I have no emotional attachment to her, or at least I shouldn't. Just kill her. And then they did. I was like, yeah, there you go. You did it. Cool.
You mentioned the guns. It made me think of the ships. I had one other
go for
plot hole I want to talk about.
Oh, sure.
What a in-universe horrible design flaw that they're like, this ship, only you can fly it. Not only can only you fly it, you're the only one allowed in it, and if you're fucked up to any degree, you cannot fly it.
Yeah, so I think I might have actually missed something. Why couldn't adult Ryan Reynolds fly his own ship?
It's DNA based, and I guess that whatever system they have, it can tell how fucked up you are.
Okay, injured?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, just mentally. No, injured.
You're at like a 20 out of 100 today. You are not allowed on the ship.
That would make more sense.
Yeah, that might actually be a way better failsafe.
That'd be a better failsafe in this universe.
Specific situation, yeah.
But no, it was, and I don't get it. When do you need a plane more than when you're fucked up and you need to go to somewhere to save you?
So if you're injured, it won't let you on the ship?
If you're injured, it won't let you on the ship. If you're not the person who can pilot it, it won't let you on the ship. That one doesn't make... It won't let you on the ship. Not that it won't let you fly the ship.
Right.
That part I understand. She's not allowed on his ship.
Right.
Because she's not him.
Right.
Why? I get whether you can fly it or not.
Right.
Is your DNA.
If you change it from get on the ship to fly the ship, then it could almost be like, well, clearly we'll let you on the ship. There's probably emergency medical supplies on the ship.
Right.
Then you can fix
or
yourself.
Or you could travel back to your proper time with somebody
right.
instead of having to live out the rest of your life in a cabin in the woods.
Right.
Because your ship blew up.
Yeah.
Just the ships are they're bad. Whoever made these ships, I got a laundry list of design
Sounds
flaws.
like Saurian made the ships.
They did a bad job.
The main villain, the woman. Sounds like she designed the ship. Sounds like she's responsible for everything in the future. And by she, I mean she stole Mark Ruffalo's whole shit. That's like the whole point of this movie.
Those ships just sucked, and they got worse throughout the movie. The movie started, and he was like, "Oh, I'm fucked up. I can't fly." And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, that's what made me feel like, I guess I didn't miss anything. That's what made me feel like I missed something, because I was like, wait, why can't he go on the ship? And I think my brain filled in the blank of like, well, it can't be because he's injured. You must have missed a line somewhere.
Right.
But I guess I didn't. That is really bad. That's a weird thing.
Yeah, it's just a huge design flaw in universe.
Yeah.
But also it's I'm watching this and he's like, I can't fly because I'm fucked up. And I was like, dumb rule, but okay. Oh, you're gonna have to leave me here because I'm not you, so I can't go on the ship. And I was like, stop trying to make me feel things, movie.
Yeah.
I can see where you're like, fuck, we need to make this sad.
Yeah.
But and I've been thinking this way. The more I've been writing the book with me and Pauline, I got to look out for these things so that I don't have issues like this where it's like, well, why didn't you just do this?
Right.
And it just felt very sloppy. It was Mark Ruffalo's like, I can't know about the future. I'll change everything, but I can't know about it.
Yeah.
The ship.
The only thing I'll change is the way that I abandon my family.
Right.
Which it's not abandoning if it's an accident unless you know about it and know that you can prevent it.
Right. It's just I saw.
Isn't that so funny that once you know it's gonna happen, it's active abandonment?
Right. Right. What if there's just a scene in this movie where they disappear and Mark Ruffalo's just writing in his journal and he's like, I'd rather be dead anyways.
Oh my God.
That's the only reason. I'm running out of reasons to understand why he wouldn't let them just tell him. No, there were a few moments watching this movie that were a little janky where I was like, I feel like I'm reading the code of the video game. I feel like I can see why this is happening, and it's just because they're trying to make me feel emotions.
Yeah. I mean, this movie, and this is not a bad thing, I actually like how they did this. Maybe you disagree, and if you do, we can have a discussion about it. But I feel like this movie was very tropey, and I feel like a lot of time travel shit I've seen in other time travel things came up, and I think most of them were done pretty well.
Yeah, well, I liked the scene with the bully and Ryan Reynolds eventually just handles it for the kid. I liked that.
I thought that the whole fuck, I fucked up the jump. Well, she lost 4 years.
I'm just trying to remember.
He fucked up the whole movie is about him.
He fucked up the jump, right.
He tried to save her but instead he's here. So now, because he pressed one wrong button, she's been stuck in the woods for 4 years.
Right.
I've seen that many times in time travel stuff. There's a scene in Legends of Tomorrow where two of them get trapped in definitely the wrong era for something like 4 years, and they make a happy family, and then all of a sudden the time machine comes back. They're like, all right, come on. And they're like, okay. I guess we did a whole sure, whatever. But for them, it was like, no, we're from a couple minutes ago.
Right.
Oh my God! Speaking of Interstellar again, sorry to compare it so much to that because it has almost nothing to do in common with it. But there's a really cool scene like that where there's 3 people on the ship. 2 of them have to go down to the planet surface, but time works differently, so they have to really fucking hurry. Time works so differently that they're down there for like something like 15 minutes, maybe a half hour, and they go up there, and this guy is 40 years older.
Jesus.
He's like, I've been waiting.
Jesus.
Yeah. There's some really cool stuff you could do with time travel, some really emotional stuff you can do with time travel, and I feel like the Adam Project did a lot of them very well. And my favorite part of the movie was at the very end, because there was a lot of moments in this movie, whether they were in dialogue or action sequences or themings or whatever, where I was like, I can see where this is going, and then they like say the thing, I'm like, that's I've seen movies before. There was one scene where I was like, I know what's going to happen, and then it was something completely different. When she shoots Mark Ruffalo, I thought that younger version of her was going to jump in front of it
that was
and
really
kill them
cool.
both. But then the magnet like took the bullet and killed her that way, and you could tell that she didn't want to die. Like they clearly went out of their way to be like, no, we're not doing what Anthony thought we were doing.
Right.
We're doing this thing. I thought that was so cool. I almost want to call it a twist, only because it's not what I expected.
You know what I thought was going to happen? I thought Ryan Reynolds was going to take the bullet because his future, assuming his dad survives, assuming they do everything they need to do.
Right. The only one who has to stay alive is little Adam.
Right.
So he can get back to his own time.
Right.
Yeah.
So I really thought Ryan Reynolds was taking the bullet.
Right.
That was the coolest option. What they did.
Right.
What they did was the best option.
Yeah, I thought that was very cool because now it's her fault. And like literally Ruffalo says that. He's like, you never cared about the science or else you wouldn't have done this. This is your fault.
Right.
It was a classic example of a very conceited, overconfident villain thinking they know what's going to happen, and then they make one mistake and everything's ruined. And it's their fault.
That meme that we were going to make?
Yes.
That's the other scene I was thinking of.
Oh, you're right, because they definitely do that in this film.
Yeah. It's so funny how we were talking about that literally yesterday, and we're back here.
I will not forget that because I too noticed. That was another thing. There are a bunch of Marvel movies and there's people, and then he starts Darth Mauling people, and they start Thanos snapping.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's cool. It must be an easy visual effect.
Yeah, right.
They're using it a lot.
Yeah, that's the thing. Ever since that movie came out, a bunch of films are using that dusting effect.
But this one, it was like...
pixelated, kind of? Or?
Yeah, I'm assuming this movie was rated PG-13, but if you take out a few swears, I'm sure you could get a PG because there was no blood, except the bullet wound, I guess. There's stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It was very like, oh, it's like a non-violent sort of almost like Final Fantasy-esque way of showing someone die.
Right.
And the explanation was like, it's weird. I don't know. It's weird if you die outside your time. It's like, oh, okay.
That's what it was, right?
If you die outside your he said if you die outside your designated time, and then he says if you die outside your designated time, things get weird.
Right.
Or complicated. He either says weird or complicated, but that's the only explanation we get. And then he's like, here, let me kill a few guys. And then it's like, oh, they turn into space dust.
Yeah.
I know space dust.
I guess that means, assuming there's... It really gives the vibe that, like, assuming there's an afterlife, they've missed the opportunity. It's like the Thanos Snap. Like, they just did not exist, is what that gives the vibe of.
Well, that's definitely what happens in... that's true. Because the afterlife, assuming there is one, probably exists outside of time. So how does that work? I don't know. That's so weird. I don't want to think about that anymore. I know no one's going to relate to this except possibly my dad if he's still watching, but I've noticed something about Mark Ruffalo, and this has been the case the whole time, but I'm just sort of now
noticing. He gets green sometimes?
What?
He turns green sometimes.
Yeah, isn't that weird how he turns big and green?
Just in certain movies.
He, my grandfather, my only living grandfather, Mark Ruffalo sounds exactly like him.
Oh, really?
When he's just talking... There's a line in Avengers, and I know it by heart because I've watched this video showing people like, doesn't this sound like my grandfather? But it's the line, specifically the line where it's from Avengers. He's on the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier, and he's like, he says, really, S.H.I.E.L.D. wants to put me in a pressurized underwater tube or whatever he says. That line in particular, I'm just like, Grandpa? And this whole movie, it's because since I noticed that this is the first thing I've seen him in, the whole movie I was just like,
We should, assuming your grandfather consents, we should do a comparison video.
Next time. Oh, I know. I was just about to say, I was thinking about this today. I think next time I'm with my grandfather
just have
and
him
a
read
bunch
a
of
line.
people, I'm going to literally have him read that line and then play the video and then be like, listen, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because he has a very unique voice.
Yeah,
Mark
yeah.
Ruffalo.
He's just like, he's sort of like, my grandfather, he's from Connecticut, he's from around here. So he has a very particular accent. One that's not super different from my own, of course, but one that's like a little different. It definitely has its eccentricities the way my, every accent does. And Mark Ruffalo just hits it sometimes. I don't know where Mark Ruffalo's from, but he just like, sometimes he just like really like 4 sentences in a row. I'm just like, that sounds like my granddad. And this is crazy. Like how it's not even like, oh, that's weird. It's crazy how similar he sounds to him. To me, my brother agrees. My mom was kind of like, because it's her dad.
Yeah.
So she had a harder time hearing what I was hearing. But my brother was like, don't play that again, which was very funny.
Good.
No. So I really like this. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. I don't know if they cast this kid because of this. I don't know if Ryan Reynolds cast this kid
he nailed
perfectly.
Ryan Reynolds'
yeah, dude,
vibe,
I'm
right?
sure Ryan Reynolds didn't act like that as a kid, but if you told me to write little kid Ryan Reynolds, that's basically what I would do.
He had the proper timing.
Yeah.
He had proper timing for everything that Ryan Reynolds
he had the right amount of, like,
that's
snark.
good acting.
Yeah.
For a kid.
And because he's a kid, and because this was kind of part of the plot, he took it a little too far when he had to,
Yeah.
And then, like, the plot moves on, and then you're like, oh, man, little Ryan Reynolds is an asshole. Who knew? Little kid Ryan Reynolds is kind of an asshole. What do you know?
There's a couple of scenes where the kid's just realizing what's happening and, like, what it means and stuff, and this is just a shout out to the writing, but like he asked all the right questions.
Right.
What a 12-year-old would have asked.
Right. I felt like he came to the conclusion pretty quick. Would you have been able to come to the conclusion he came to as quickly as he did? That being that this dude is you from the future.
Well, that's the thing. I'm glad that they gave enough telltale. I'm glad that this kid didn't just like
immediately.
Yeah, because there were a few things he he got
into the shed. He closed the fridge properly.
The
dog didn't freak out, which
he knew the dog's name.
Right.
And he
knew his name.
Well,
and he had the watch.
He had Well, the watch was That's the If I had similar things in my life, which I'm sure I do that I just don't even realize, that would be dead giveaways for somebody who either lives in my house or is me.
Yeah.
I'd probably come to the conclusion around the same time he did. What got me, and I could it was the only time in this movie where I was like, yes, you're reading from a script, I know. And it's funny because it's timing, which this kid had perfectly until this moment, was when Ryan Reynolds said Adam for the first time, and the kid was just immediately like, that's my name, wait, that was my name, why do you know my name? I was like, it was a bit too...
You would have figured it out by then, you think?
No.
Oh.
I'm saying he just picked up on that too quickly, that Ryan Reynolds knew his name.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like that scene could have taken like 3 seconds. Because the guy was like, Adam, chill out. And before Ryan Reynolds can even get his line out or whatever the line was, the kid's like, wait, why'd you know my name? Wait. And it's like, chill. I get it. You're reading a script. Wait a second when he delivers that line. At least that's how I felt. He just got that too quickly.
Yeah. No, I definitely think at least for me personally, I think it happened a little too quickly. Like, I think I would have been confused for a little bit longer. And I feel like I would go to like
Stalker first.
yeah, I wouldn't go to time traveling self first. I would go to like someone who lived here before me or something like that.
Yeah.
You know? Something like that. The dog was weird. Obviously he saw the watch and that was the turning. That was the like, okay, well, it's me. But before the watch comes into play, there was some things that could have been coincidences. I just feel like I'm more skeptical or cynical, whatever the right word is.
Skeptical.
I just feel like I would go to like, I would go to like, who are you, like, before I would go to, oh wait, you're me.
Right. No, I'd agree.
This movie also, it was like dense. There was a point in this movie where I was like, oh, this is the ending. They're setting up for a sequel. What a great movie. I checked the time code. It was literally only half over.
Wow.
It was when he left Zoe Saldana and he was like, time to go back to
the future.
Time to go back 4 years and talk to Mark Ruffalo, Dad. We're going to do that together, right? Yeah, let's both go. And then she gets killed. I really expected credits to roll.
No kidding.
And I was like, oh, man, set up a sequel, are we? You have faith in this like one step above indie Netflix movie.
Yeah, I don't think it would have gotten a sequel if they ended it there.
Right. But then I looked at the time code and I was like, holy shit, there's literally half the movie left. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I just like, maybe it's because I had already watched a whole movie, but I was just like, this movie's probably close to ending, right? And it like super duper wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know how much more you want to go into this. I feel like we could probably wrap it up soon.
Yeah, I just would you like to do a Roger Ebert?
Sure.
Just to say we did.
Now, what could Ebert say about this movie that came out like 13 years after he died?
Unfortunately, nothing, because he is dead, thank God. But
what if we time traveled, right?
What if? Yes. It is a time travel. That he should have thought ahead. I'll do a review of all the time travel movies now. And then, yeah, what would be a good... I was playing... Maybe we just want to do this, but if you want an actual review, I'd be down for that too. But I was playing... I read a random paragraph from a review and try to have my parents guess what movie it's from, and you'll never get it right because it's impossible. And
yes, let's do that.
You want to do that? Okay.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I found a really good one the other day.
That definitely spices up the Ebert Critic Corner. By the way, for those of you watching,
the theme song.
Yeah, for those of you watching on YouTube and love the theme song, or those of you watching on Twitch and love the theme song, it's official. You get the Roger Ebert podcast within a podcast theme song from the Patreon episodes. First one is up as of now. If you're watching this on YouTube, and a few days from now, if you're watching live on Twitch, please be sure to go check that out. Have I given you enough time to figure out? Oh, okay.
I'm good.
Good, cool.
Yeah, so this is from a review. I'm not going to say what it is, but that's the point. So here we go. I'm going to leave out some names and stuff so nothing gets spoiled.
Yeah.
But here we go. As for myself, scrutinizing the screen helplessly for an angle of approach, one thing above all caught my attention. The director, here's his name, or their name, has a thing about big breasts. I saw this not only because of the revealing low-cut costumes of such principal as, insert main character's name, but also, well, one of main character's names, but also because of the number of busty extras and background players who drift by crowd scenes with what Russ Meyer used to call, quote, cleavage cantilevered, which is a fake word, on the same principle that made the Sydney Opera House possible, unquote.
Man. What movie is this from?
This is from Roger.
No.
Sorry.
Hold on. I want to give at least a guess.
Oh yeah, go for
I
it.
want to give a guess. And
Thinking about all the movies you've seen with a bunch of breasts.
Yeah, essentially.
Now remember, we are talking about Roger Ebert, who is...
No, he's lived 200 years, I know. So it could be from a lot of decades.
Even when he was 20 years old, he was old man horny.
Yeah, yes. No, I know. I'm going to say, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, shit, what was the Porky's? This is from the film Porky's.
That's hilarious that you say that, because this is from his 1-star review of the 2002 film Scooby-Doo, starring Sarah Michelle Gellar and Matthew Lillard. The live-action Scooby-Doo movie. The next line after the thing I read you was, just as Woody Allen's Hollywood ending is a comedy about a movie director who forges ahead even though he is blind, Scooby-Doo could have been a comedy about how Russ Meyer clone copes with being assigned a live-action adaptation of a kiddie cartoon show.
Maybe I gotta watch that movie again.
I don't
know what he's talking about.
I
feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, Velma and Daphne both in sweaters in that movie, right?
Well, there is, of course, the scene where they all change, like, whose minds they're in, and there's a very weird, even when I was a kid, I was like...
he talks about seeing her naked in the mirror or something, right?
Fred is inside Daphne, and he says, I could look at myself naked, and then he looks down his own shirt.
Yeah.
Because he's in Daphne.
But that's it, right? That's like...
That's, beyond that, like... Here's the thing, right? If you're old man Roger Ebert in 2002, you could definitely watch this movie and stare at all of the tits in the movie. I don't necessarily think that is like
what
that would make my review of the goddamn movie.
Right. Kind of keep that one to yourself.
Even if the director was like, we got to put a ton of cans in this movie, like there was other stuff in that movie that happened.
Yeah. Well, it was a kid's movie, and the old man's got to keep himself entertained, I guess.
I guess.
You know what would be even crazier, though? If he did big boy movies and stopped bullying all the children movies.
Oh, I know. But unfortunately, that's not the Roger Ebert that we had. This one, I want to read you. I'm going to tell you what it is first, but I want to read you this one because this one was brought to my attention. Because this is his review of Brendan Fraser's 1997 film George of the Jungle.
Oh.
He gave it 3 stars, and this is from the middle of it. He's talking about how goddamn funny this movie is. And he says, consider, for example, the character of Shep, the elephant. Have you seen this movie?
A long time
ago,
okay. I'm
sure. Consider, for example, the character of Shep, the elephant. Shep looks like an elephant and is played by an elephant, but Shep thinks he's a dog. George has trained him that way. When Shep first comes bounding through the jungle and slides to a halt and sits on his haunches, barking and panting and wagging his tail, that's a run-on sentence, I was blindsided by laughter. Blindsided by laughter. And when George demonstrates Shep's ability to fetch by throwing a stick, which is actually a log, the joke only got funnier. Cut to the end of the review. Here's how it ends. This is absolutely insane. Is George of the Jungle a great movie? No. But it is well positioned for the silly season, when we've had just about all of the terrorist explosions we need for one summer, and it's still too hot for autumn art films. I recommend a spin-off, a Saturday morning cartoon series about an elephant who thinks he's a dog. Think of all the things a dog could do if he had a trunk, and you'll get the idea. What the fuck could he mean by that? Does he not know that George of the Jungle was a cartoon, and this is a movie based off of that cartoon?
No, he does zero due diligence. Seriously, he does zero due diligence. He just goes into these movies. Remember that one time his nephew, whatever his name is, duped him out of Pokemon cards?
Oh, yeah.
That's the most I've ever seen him put effort into one of these children's movies trying to figure out what it's all about. Of course he didn't know that. Also, I can't believe I've never put this together, but like I would have loved to sat next to him in a movie theater. He's just everything's so dramatic. I could just this is my interpretation of Ebert in that scene.
Enjoying like experiencing a movie.
That scene, right?
The scene with the elephant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just freaks out in the movie theater.
He
and it's
used
like,
the word blindsided.
That's what I'm saying.
When have you ever been blindsided by laughter? Blindsided means that you did not expect to laugh today. Blindsided is like when you're at
I got myself worked out. I worked up. I got to calm down.
Blindsided is when you're like at a shitty, boring dinner party that you didn't want to go to, and someone fucking like beefs it and falls in the salad. You're like, oh my God, I'm laughing now. Didn't expect this. You don't get blindsided watching George of the Jungle.
He's just so dramatic. Like, there's some movies, I can just picture him just getting up and just being like, fuck this. He just gets so like...
Yeah, he's left halfway through before and still done a review
That's
of it.
my point, is I could just picture him just being so animate. You know?
Yeah.
Like, just so animated.
Just for the sake of, like, being Roger Ebert publicly. Because if your whole thing is like, I have opinions about movies,
right,
and they're these ones.
And alternatively, I feel like there's another Ebert who he just sits there, legs crossed like this. The whole movie, he's just like... And then he goes to sit down in his review, and he's like, that was so goddamn funny.
I laughed at every turn. Now let's talk about the titties.
But he's just got a stoic, like he's studying the film the whole time.
God forbid he's sitting next to the person who made it, and the person's like, oh my God, fucking Roger Ebert hates my movie. And then Roger Ebert, like, closes his notebook, puts his popcorn down, and he's like, that was the funniest movie I've ever seen. And this director just shits right there. Like,
there's no way he's just an average Joe at the movie theaters, right?
No,
no way he can just be normal.
No,
one extreme or the other.
How many times? Okay, how many times do you think? Sorry, I'm pressing all the wrong buttons. How many times do you think Roger Ebert has yelled at someone for being loud during a movie at a movie theater versus how many times he has been yelled at for being too loud at a movie theater?
Wait, do we have an answer to this?
No.
No. Oh. Well, that's the thing. I need to know what the dude was like in a movie theater. That's why I'm saying I wish I could have sat next to him.
It just seems like he seems like the kind of person who would throw the rest of the audience to the wind and say, well, I'm going to enjoy this movie whichever way the movie makes me need to enjoy it, no matter how loud.
I like your Ebert voice.
Thanks. But part of me could see him, like...
just being stoic the whole time.
But
right?
Also being, like, belligerently angry if any cell phone goes off.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just like, what the fuck? I'm trying to watch Spy Kids 3D Game Over. Could you shut your goddamn cell phone off?
You mean... You mean he's sitting there belly laughing, but then one other person makes a noise, and he's like, God damn it!
Oh, yeah. They laugh for a half second longer than he laughs, and he's like, it wasn't that funny, okay? Calm the fuck down. Rugrats Go Wild is playing right now. I waited in line to see this movie.
This is a skit. You're Ebert. You just...
Is this mean? Can we do this skit since he's dead?
Yeah.
Do we get a letter from someone if we make this skit and it pops off?
Let's
say this skit goes viral. Do we get in trouble?
No, we don't get in trouble. Do we have moral issues afterwards? Maybe. But I know he's not dead, thank God. But if the whitest kid you know can get away with making that John Williams skit, I think we can get away with this Ebert skit.
Okay.
It's a very funny skit, by the way, anybody who hasn't seen it.
Oh, I thought you meant the one we didn't make yet.
Oh, that's
you mean
also going to be funny. Keep your eyes out for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
have I seen this? What did the whitest kid
do?
do?
I think I've showed you it once. If I haven't, we have to watch it. It's John Williams in his house, and he's trying to come up with the next tune for George Lucas. And so it's the first, like, minute and a half of this skit is just him going boom, boom, boom. But he's like doing the lawnmower, going boom, and then he's in the shower, he's like boom, boom, boom. And then it's just his wife sleeping next to him, and he's just sitting in bed going boom, 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 boom. And he goes, oh, I got it. And then he wakes his wife up, and he's like, remember this. Boom, 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 boom. And then it's the next day, and he's like, you remembered it, right? And she's like, what? And she's like, yeah, I went, yeah, nah. He's like, It's not what I did. And then they have a songwriting contest that their son has to judge.
Oh, okay.
It's hysterical. Have I never shown you this?
Yeah, it's sounding familiar. I think maybe you've talked about it before. I've definitely never seen this.
I got to show you. It's hysterical. We won't do it today because we really don't have time. But
yeah, you got a thing you got to do.
I really need you to see that. Yeah, I think we're
going to end this right now. Remember, Adam Project, good. Turning Red, good. Roger Ebert, bad. if we're on the scale of good to bad, there it is. But yes, I very much enjoyed the Adam Project. I was gonna say something to the effect of like, if there's a sequel, I'll definitely watch it. This movie, there can't be one. There doesn't need to be one. It was a lot of movies are being made. Do you realize? Do you not realize? Sorry. Do you notice this? There's like, I feel like with streaming, I feel like the number of movies that are being made is like greater than ever before because it has to keep up with like, well, fuck, Hulu has this movie, we got to make it, you know? So there's just a lot of movies, and it's like, it's not rare anymore that you like don't hear about one. Like, you and I literally knew basically nothing about the two movies we watched, which makes me think that they were made quickly or, you know, I don't know. But
no, I hear you.
But they were both really good. I had a good time watching these two movies. And I had a good time recording this podcast. I hope the people watching did as well. If you're watching the stream, just a reminder, do not go away. Stream's not over. We got more to talk about. And if you're watching the video, thank you so much. We don't know what the next episode is going to be. If you'd like more of this right this second, there's an episode up on our Patreon. We did an episode on the Super Mario Brothers movie. It's terrible. The movie, not our podcast. Our podcast
was good.
We had a lot of fun making the podcast, not so much watching the movie. So you can go check that out on our Patreon. And if you want to watch Cinematic Relief live, you can do that. Roughly every third Friday, 5 EST is when that happens. 5 EST is when we always stream. Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, different new stuff each time. And that'll do it for us. So thank you for watching. And until next time, I'm Thunder.
I'm Lightning.
And go watch movies. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe.
Our channel has daily uploads from podcast video essays, Let's Plays to skits.
Be sure to watch on Twitch. We stream all our video game and podcast content live at 5 EST every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday.
Our intro is by Brad Kendrick and music by Froggy and the Friendship. Link to all that in the description below.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.